All right, get this, folks. Today we're diving headfirst into ancient Egypt. But, and here's the twist, we're not just hitting the typical pyramids and sphinx tour.
Nope, we're going way deeper.
We're talking about their, how do we put this?
Obsession.
Yeah, obsession with life after death.
And I mean, really, obsession is the right word. It was like the bedrock of their whole civilization. Like everything revolved around it.
So where are we getting all this from? Some dusty old scroll?
Well, not a scroll exactly, but close. We're looking at an article called Ancient Egypt, the concept of immortality and the human fascination with death. And it kind of blows the whole death is the end thing out of the water.
Okay, so no, the end. What do they think happened? Reincarnation, hanging out on cloud.
Think more like a transition, like moving to, I don't know, a deluxe version of Egypt.
Like a cosmic upgrade?
Exactly. They called it the Field of Reeds. Imagine the Nile Valley, but like amped up.
Yeah.
Perfect weather, endless bounty, you name it. And it was forever.
Eternal paradise, Egyptian style.
Got it. But why? Why was this whole afterlife thing so central for them?
Well, think about it. Their world was all about cycles. Like the Nile flooding and receding every year, the sun rising and setting each day, life, death, and life again.
So they looked around and thought, eternal comeback is how the universe works.
It's more than that. It's about order coming from chaos. And this wasn't just some, like, heady philosophy. It totally shaped their lives, and especially how they got ready for, well, the big transition.
Makes sense. You can't just show up to eternal paradise unprepared. So what was their strategy? Did they think you had to earn your way in?
Preparation was key, definitely. You couldn't just waltz into the Field of Reeds. There were rules, rituals, the whole 9 yards. They even had a dress code, for the afterlife.
Okay, now I'm intrigued. So walk me through this transition. What did they think actually happened to a person when they died?
Okay, so get this. They believed the soul wasn't just one thing. It had, like, multiple parts.
Oh, multiple souls. Was this like buy one, get one free? Not exactly. It was more like different aspects of your being. Take the Ka, for example. That was your life force. Almost a spiritual twin that needed, upkeep even after death. That's where all those offerings in the tombs came in. Food, drinks, all that.
So you're not feeding the body anymore. You're feeding this energy double. That's wild. What about the other soul parts?
Well, there's the Ba, which is more like your personality, your individual essence. The Egyptians pictured it as a bird with a human head. It could, like, fly between worlds, visit loved ones, check out different realms, even go back to its mummified body.
So like an astral projection vacation.
You could say that, but the ultimate goal, the real prize, was achieving, that's your unified immortal self. But here's the thing, it wasn't automatic.
Oh, there's a catch.
To become Ak, you had to journey through the underworld. They called it the Duat. It was this whole realm full of trials and tests, like a cosmic obstacle course for your soul.
So not exactly a relaxing cruise into eternity. They believed in working for your afterlife perks. Tell me more about this Duat. What was it like, and how did they think people could, make it through successfully?
Imagine a place of darkness, danger, but also transformation, ruled by Osiris, god of the underworld. People said it mirrored the sun god Ra's journey through the night sky.
Okay, so a seriously intense place. What helped people get through this cosmic obstacle course? Good deeds. Luck.
Well, being a good person definitely mattered, but they also put a lot of faith in spells and prayers. Think Book of the Dead. It was like their guidebook to the afterlife, full of inscriptions, passwords, you name it.
Like a cosmic cheat sheet for the soul.
Yeah, exactly. They really wanted to make sure nobody got lost on the road to paradise,
And of course, speaking of afterlife prep, we have to talk about the main event, mummies.
Mummies are just, such a classic image.
Totally. But it wasn't just about wrapping folks up, right?
Oh, no. It was a huge ritual. It took about 70 days, all these precise steps. More than just preserving the body, it was about order conquering chaos.
So by keeping the body intact, they were ensuring that Ka and Ba could hang out together.
Basically, yeah, reunite in the afterlife. It was all about keeping those soul parts connected.
That's actually kind of beautiful. But mummies are only half the story, right? What good is a perfectly preserved body if you don't have a place to, spend eternity?
So tell me about these tombs.
Ah, the tombs. They weren't just graves, These were eternal homes. Pyramids, mastabas, the Valley of the Kings, decked out with everything you'd need for a comfortable afterlife. Treasures, furniture, food, even little statues called shabtis.
Shabties, what were those for? Cosmic entertainment.
Even better, they were supposed to magically come to life and do your chores in the afterlife.
So like built-in servants for eternity.
You got it. They really thought of everything.
Yeah.
It's like they pre-ordered room service for eternity. Talk about planning ahead. But you mentioned earlier that getting into the field of reeds wasn't exactly a slam dunk. Like, there was a judgment involved, right?
Right. You couldn't just coast in on good vibes alone. There was this whole ceremony, the weighing of the heart, pretty intense stuff.
Okay, how'd that work? Do they have, like, a cosmic scale?
Pretty much. Picture this. You're standing before Osiris, the god of the underworld, and your heart is placed on one side of a scale. On the other side, a feather.
Just a feather. Wait, what kind of feather?
The feather of truth, of course.
Ah, symbolic. So if your heart was lighter than a feather, you were good to go.
Bingo. Lighter heart, good life. You were welcomed into the field of reeds, no problem. But if your heart was heavier, well, that meant you'd messed up, made some bad choices.
And no eternal room service for you.
Actually, way worse. There was this creature, Amit, the eater of souls.
Okay, that sounds ominous. What did this Amit look like?
Imagine, like, a crocodile head, lion body, and the back end of a hippo.
That's, specific.
And terrifying. If your heart failed the test, Amit would devour it. Poof. No more chance for immortality.
Wow, talk about a motivator to be a good person. Makes you think twice about those little white lies.
Doesn't it? It really puts things in perspective.
So we've got these cosmic stakes, the judgment scene. I mean, the whole thing is like something out of a movie.
It's epic for sure. And speaking of epic, we can't forget the stars of the show, the gods themselves.
Right. Who are the big names in this afterlife drama? Like the ultimate power couple running the show.
Well, Osiris, god of the underworld, he's obviously a key player, but he's not just about death, he's also about resurrection.
Hold on. Resurrection. Now that's a twist. How does that fit in with everything else?
Osiris' story is like the cornerstone of Egyptian myth. His brother Set, out of jealousy, he killed Osiris. And not just killed him, he chopped him up and scattered the pieces all over Egypt.
That gets brutal.
It gets worse. But then Isis, Osiris' wife, she's this incredibly powerful goddess, right? She gathers up all his pieces, uses her magic, and brings him back to life.
Talk about relationship goals. I mean, piecing your husband back together from, like, divine spare parts. That's dedication. But what does this have to do with, everyday Egyptians trying to make it to the field of reeds?
Osiris' resurrection became a symbol of hope, renewal. It showed that even after death, there was a chance to come back, live forever. It's like the Nile, right? Flooding and receding, bringing new life to the land.
So it wasn't just a juicy story about the gods. It was like a metaphor for the whole circle of life thing. Okay, so Osiris is the comeback king. What about other gods? What roles did they play?
Oh, there were plenty more. Anubis, for instance, the jackal-headed god.
Yeah, I've seen him on, like, sarcophagi and stuff.
Right, he guided souls through the underworld, made sure the mummification process was done right, all the rituals, the proper steps, everything by the book.
So, like a spiritual crossing guard. Making sure no one took a wrong turn on the road to the afterlife.
Exactly. Super important job. And then, of course, there's Ra, the sun god. Light, warmth, life, you name it. His daily journey across the sky, that was a symbol of the soul's journey, too.
Okay, but we were talking afterlife. Didn't Ra have a night shift, too?
He did. Every night, Ra descended into the underworld, sailing through it on his solar bark, battling monsters and the forces of darkness. He had to overcome all these crazy challenges to emerge each morning, bringing the light back.
Wow, high stakes, cosmic adventure. But it also shows how, for the Egyptians, darkness and light, death and life, they were all connected.
Absolutely. And understanding these myths, the gods, their roles, it gives us a deeper understanding of how the Egyptians saw the world. For them, death was just another part of life's journey, and they went all out to prepare for it.
So we've got their whole philosophy of immortality, the rituals, the divine all-star cast. But here's the big question. Why do we, thousands of years later, still find this stuff so fascinating? What is it about ancient Egypt that keeps us coming back for more?
It's like their world is, I don't know, timeless. It just pulls you in, even after all these centuries.
Is it just the mystery, the sheer scale of everything, or is there something deeper going on?
I think it's a bit of everything, really. The art, the architecture, those incredible tombs and the stuff they found in them. But it's also the questions, the same ones we're still asking today. About life, death, what it all means.
Yeah, the big ones. Like, what happens after we're gone? Is that it? Or is there something more?
And the Egyptians, with their beliefs and their rituals, they tried to answer those questions to create a way of understanding the universe, I guess. And they didn't shy away from death, you know? They embraced it, explored it, turned it into art, even.
And that art, those ideas, they've definitely stuck around. I mean, think about it, mummies. Those movies about curses and ancient kings.
Right.
Even video games use Egyptian stuff all the time.
It's everywhere, but it goes deeper than just pop culture. Even in science, we see echoes of their quest for, well, immortality.
You mean like cryogenics?
Yeah.
Freezing people, hoping to bring them back someday.
Exactly. It's like mummification, but with liquid nitrogen. That desire to cheat death, to outsmart time, it's still with us.
And what about all this stuff with virtual reality and artificial intelligence? Like uploading our consciousness, creating digital versions of ourselves that could live forever.
It's fascinating, right? We might have different technology, but the goal is similar, to transcend our physical limits. The Egyptians might not have had computers, but that yearning to live on, it definitely connects us.
And of course, we can't forget archaeology, all those discoveries, every tomb, every little artifact. It's like another piece of the puzzle.
It's true. Think about Tutankhamun's tomb. When they found that, it was like the whole world went crazy for ancient Egypt. And every new find, whether it's a whole city or a tiny tool, it helps us understand them better, their lives, their beliefs, their hopes.
It's not just about pharaohs and pyramids, right? It's about real people, just like us, trying to figure things out.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so captivating. It's this window into a lost world, a world that's both strange and familiar. It reminds us that we're all part of this huge, ongoing story.
Okay, so after all this, after this deep dive into their world, what's the big takeaway? What can we learn from the Egyptians and their, well, their obsession with the afterlife?
I think they teach us that it's okay to face these big questions, to explore the mysteries of life and death, and that doing so can lead to incredible things, to creativity, innovation, even hope.
Hope, yeah, that's a good one. It reminds me of something you said earlier about the Egyptians believing that your name had to be spoken for your spirit to live on. What a powerful idea. So what do you think? What's the key to leaving a legacy, to having our names, whispered through the ages?
That's a tough one. And honestly, I think the answer is different for everyone. Maybe it's the art we make, the knowledge we share, the way we help others. It's about leaving something behind that matters, something that connects with people long after we're gone.
To leave a mark that echoes through time. I love that. Well, folks, that brings us to the end of our journey into the world of ancient Egypt. But like we've been saying, the story doesn't end here. Keep exploring, keep asking those big questions. And who knows, maybe someday someone will be talking about your legacy, your impact on the world. Until next time, keep that curiosity alive.